How to use stress in order to motivate yourself, or for the layman, how to turn bad anxiety into good anxiety. It's possible, and I would highly recommend it. Anxiety can feel like a heavy weight that we didn't ask to carry. Who wouldn't love to get rid of it? Well, it's impossible. You are always going to find new challenges off on the distant horizon, and they'll eventually creep up on you if you don't use them to your advantage, if you don't take them head on. But neuroscientist Wendy Suzuki wants to challenge the way we view our anxiety. In fact, in her new book called Good Anxiety, Harnessing the Power of the Most Misunderstood Emotion. If you're skeptical, so was I, Kira M. Newman. But Suzuki's point is that anxiety is a natural human emotion, and it serves a purpose. We feel anxious when there is some kind of danger. It primes our body to a fight, flight, or freeze situation from danger, hopes that we end up better off in the long run. In the same way, our modern anxieties can be a warning signal for things that are wrong, such as not getting enough rest, too much multitasking, and isolation from others, whatever. Our anxious energy alerts us so that we can change our lives for the better, according to Suzuki. If we simply approach it as something to avoid, get rid of, or dampen, we not only don't solve the problem, but actually miss an opportunity to leverage the generative power of anxiety. She wrote, "Good anxiety can draw our attention to the problem." When we're aware of a problem and feel that anxiety, our fight or flight and freeze response, which comes with activation of our sympathetic nervous system, brings a cascade of biochemical changes that help us deal with the immediate threat. When the threat passes, we kick into a rest and digest mode, which comes with the activation of our parasympathetic nervous system and its own cascade of biochemical changes. Unfortunately, in today's high-stress world, we're left in a constant state of alert, and the bad anxiety makes it difficult to calm down and get the benefit of what our anxiety is signaling. So if you're running yourself in a surplus of anxiety, what are you going to do with it? Deal with it? No, most people are just going to try to push it off. But what if you can make it work for you? To do that, you first need to turn down the volume of anxiety. That's nice. Okay. Put this into two categories: good anxiety, bad anxiety. Because that's what Wendy is trying to do here. Like I said at the beginning, good anxiety ends up motivating you, okay? You know that there's something to do, okay? It's just kind of hanging over you, and know that it's something that needs to be accomplished, okay? You have a certain drop-dead date, you need to hit it, you need to accomplish the task at hand, so you just do it, okay? To just get that monkey off your back, and you know how good it's going to feel when it's done, okay? So if you're not motivated to take on the challenge at the time, knowing that the reward of being finished with the project is just right there within arm's reach, that you can just get that and you can attain it, well, guess what? You might be motivated enough to do it. And then you got bad anxiety, okay? Something that I think is too insurmountable. You haven't quite thought through entirely, or maybe it's something that you can't really control, but you still think is within your purview anyways. Some big overarching problem that you haven't been able to rationalize. Well, how do you minimize that? Well, a couple of tools. Breath work. We've talked about that extensively. Okay, just focusing, slowing down, thinking about your breath work, and just slowing everything down, basically. And then, of course, moving your body. Just doing some exercise, okay? Getting out of your own headspace for a minute. Two pretty simple answers, really. So once you got those two areas just segmented off, and you have your problems in life compartmentalized, what are you going to do with that? So you have your motivators and you have your detractors. How do you turn down the detractors? Okay, how do you turn down those bad feelings that you know you can't quite deal with at the time, but you know are important and you're going to have to deal with them at some point or another? So how do you turn those down for a minute in order to focus on the good stuff that's there in order to push you through that roadblock? 2 steps to learning about what anxiety is telling you about your values, your life, your lifestyle. You can ask yourself, why did I get anxious? What caused that? What can I understand about this and I could address in the future, perhaps in a different way? Once you turn the volume down on anxiety, it allows you to step back and learn and contemplate what this anxiety is telling you about your values and what you are living your life, about the patterns in your life. That thing that causes me anxiety may never change. I've had many of my anxieties from the time that I was very little. I talk a lot about my own anxieties since I cover them in the book, and the oldest that I I talk about is social anxiety. Very, very shy, awkward kid. Hey, funny. I talked about that too. I think that was Monday, right? All through high school and college, I always had a fear of asking questions in class, and to this day, I get scared of social situations. Yeah, but aren't you like 50? That's kind of embarrassing. So I find myself thinking, okay, well, that's always going to be there, so how can I make it easier on myself? Aha, so I go with friends, and I make sure I always have somebody there. To try to burden somebody else. I get it, not joking. While I have social anxiety, and it always makes me nervous to make new friends, I have this human desire to be part of a social group, and my dear friends are some of the most comforting elements in my whole life. Ugh, that might work for you though. So it's just coping mechanisms to make yourself a more complete individual, okay? You might need the help of somebody else, and there's nothing wrong with that. Don't be ashamed about asking for help and seeking help. Everybody does it. It's totally fine, and it's the only way that you'll learn, okay? If you're stuck in a situation, you know, somebody else can help you out, you're stupid if you don't try to access every avenue to make yourself a better, more complete individual. So I jest, of course. So speaking specifically about the motivational properties of good anxiety, there are six different gifts of superpowers that I talk about, and the easiest one to understand and implement is the for anybody, is the superpower of productivity when it comes to your specific anxiety. Here's how it works. A very, very common manifestation of anxiety is that what if that comes into your head. What if I get sick with the coof? You might not even notice. What if I don't get an A? What if I can't remember what a professor said on this part of a test? The superpower that comes with the anxiety induced. What if list is shifting that onto a to-do list. There you go. So if you're worried about failing a particular exam, obvious to-dos, find a friend to study with, or just study yourself. Find a tutor. Study these particular 3 lectures that were confusing to you. Exactly. Figure out, okay, you have a big problem, and then just break it down into different areas and different ways that you can attack it, okay, to the smallest possible way, okay, just a little bit of progress, okay. If it's a big boulder, if you feel like the big problem in the future is just running at you full speed like you're Indiana Jones and you don't have an idol at the end of it to swap the gold statue with, okay, that you're just going to end up squished under that, there's an opportunity. There's an opportunity to just condense it down slowly but surely. Rome wasn't built in a day, nor did it fall in one either. Good anxiety is using the activation energy in your anxiety-inducing stress response to get something done, to take that warning signal, to do something with it, whether it is to study and take a test or make an appointment for your vacation or vaccination. Oh, gross. If you choose to do so, or consult your financial advisor if you're worried about money. Yeah, because guess what? Worrying about all this stuff isn't going to fix it. Okay, it's just going to make you feel worse. So you might as well be proactive about this stuff. In completing the to-do, you help resolve that feeling of anxiety, and it makes you more productive. Again, you can read this lady's book, which I'm sure is good, and I'm sure it's fine. Or you can just understand that if you start to shift things into a to-do list and a not my problem, just get rid of it list, you'll probably solve a lot of the problems you have with anxiety out there. Because if I have to hear, and it's something that I talked about, I forget when, but recently in the past week or so, like video games. I know, weird tangent on this one, but follow me for a second, okay? And there's some videos out there on the internet, on YouTube specifically, I know, right, that are out there involving video games, okay? Specifically though, high-skilled players in video games, speedrunners, okay, people who can start a video game and get all the way to the end as quickly as possible, and they are some of the most skilled individuals that are out there. And some of the different organizations that are out there, okay, like they host these big charity events, okay, they have marathons that last entire weeks, and it's great. They all come together and they run different types of games, and it's all highly impressive, highly skilled people that put their expertise out there for the world to see and comprehend. And they're doing this all in the name of raising money, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars in some of these bigger competitions. Well, they aren't really competitions, these big gatherings, okay, that are out there. But one of them in specific, okay, and it's not really important to point that out, but they're all about mental awareness, okay, and they're mental health awareness. It's like everybody's obviously aware of their mental capabilities, but mental health awareness, okay, one specific charity that's out there And every single time that somebody makes a donation, okay, because you make donations in order to raise money for the charity to keep the marathon and event going, whatever you want to call it, okay? And then you can add on your little tagline, and then everybody's always like, oh, I suffer from depression and anxiety. So many of these comments every single time, but a lot of these people don't realize that so many of their problems can be fixed. And you can see the people that are up there on the stage, right there on your screen. They found solace in running games, being extremely good at something incredibly niche, because it could be running a game, like I just look over and take a look at my shelf. It's like running a Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze game, running a Nintendo Switch game, beating it from toes to titties in about 2 hours, okay? Completely done 100%, okay? I'm not entirely sure how long the speed run is. That was probably somebody who didn't think that they had a whole lot really going on for themselves, picked up the game, thought that, hey, I could be really good at this, and then all of a sudden you find a niche, and you find a reason to, I don't know, maybe even just continue if it's that dark, or just really start to hone in your skills and figure out a proper trajectory for your life. Seems stupid, but it's always something as simple as that, okay? You don't have to go out there, you don't have to change the world, okay? If you have a goal that's out there, you want to achieve something, well, guess what? Start going at it layer by layer by layer, okay? And you can cut those layers thinner and thinner if they become a little bit too unachievable, at least at the time. So with that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.